Welcome back to MMAOddsBreaker. Today we got Tim Elliott getting ready to fight Iliarde Santos, coming up here on Titan Fighting Championships 34. Well, let's get the elephant out of the room first, Tim. You're on a bit of a slide right now. You're on a bit of a losing streak. Obviously, not like you, not what you do. Has there been any other time in your athletic career that you can remember from when you were a kid that you've been on a slide like this?
I started my pro MMA career out with 2 losses and a draw. So I didn't want to fight until my 4th fight as a pro. And at the time, my girlfriend, she was 4-0 as a fighter. So
hold on. What do you mean you didn't want to fight until your 4th fight?
I didn't win a fight.
They see you didn't want to fight.
No.
I didn't. You didn't want to fight. Like, what the hell are you doing fighting then?
I didn't win a fight.
Okay.
Until my 4th fight.
Right.
So I hadn't won any fights, and my girlfriend at the time, she was undefeated. So it was kind of hard for me to cope with that, but I had a lot of support. And as far as wrestling goes, when I was younger, I sucked all the way up until I was in high school. So losing's not anything new to me. I'm not scared to lose. It doesn't really bother me that bad. It just means less pay. I'm having fun doing what I'm doing, and I fight as hard as I can every time, and I'm good with that.
Let's talk about pay for a minute. UFC's it's the big leagues. Now you're in Titan. It's a way for you to get back into the big leagues, but it's still Titan.
Yeah.
How's the pay in comparison? Don't give me numbers. I don't want you getting your manager pissed off at me, but what's it like going from one to the next?
If I win here, I'll make half as much as I would have made losing in the UFC.
Oh, perfect. You're on quarter pay. Yep. All right. You still paying your bills? Still able to keep all your bills together?
Yeah, I'm lucky. My old lady, she has a good job, and we just had a baby. So, being cut by the UFC sucked, but it couldn't have came at a better time. I spend 24 hours a day with my kid, and I've never been happier. And training has kind of not been a job so much lately. It's been more of a hobby. And I was worried about my cardio and stuff, but I'm noticing now that I'm training a lot less and going in and having fun. I'm getting better again. I was plateaued for the longest time, but I was doing 3-4 practices a day. And I was ran ragged. I couldn't compete with a lot of guys. And now I'm coming in fresh, and man, I'm getting good again. So I'm enjoying it. I'm having a lot of fun. I feel like this is the best I've ever been.
Jake Ellenberger has been training over at my gym down in LA. Strong comes in once a week for some special training. And one of the things that we always talk about with my other business partners and his strength and conditioning coach, Robert Forrester, is that the wrestler mentality, because Robert's a former wrestler that moved into cycling, and he's a PT guy. The wrestler has a problem of resting and relaxing. We don't know how to stop. Like, it's just always go, 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 go. You just mentioned, hey, it's a hobby now. Like, I'm not in the gym 3-4 times a day. I'm in there a couple of times a day, and I'm better. A lot of it's got to do with your rest and relaxation and your mental status when you're walking in, right?
Yeah, I always thought if I wasn't training, I was going to get passed by guys that were. And when I was 18, I could do that. I could train all day and then go out and party all night. But, I'm having trouble getting out of bed and shit after working out. I got guys like James Krause and Zach Cummings and Gaston Reno and Bobby Cooper, big guys whooping on me every day. And it was just getting to be too much, but I didn't recognize it until, the baby came, and I was just going in and having a good time with practice. And, man, it's really, 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 really been a good thing.
So it's actually kind of been, you got cut 3 fights in a row, losing streak sucks, but the silver lining is you get to be a dad, and you actually find out if I rest a little bit more, I'm actually better. So it's okay to kind of be at home and kind of relax.
It's all been a positive thing so far, minus the pay. But like
Right.
I said, I have support from my family and my wife and the gym. So it's not that big of a deal. I would really like to get into like ONE FC. I feel like my fighting style would be, I could get a fan base over there, I feel like. And where in the UFC, it's more about you got to win. And I would rather go out out on my shield and put on a show and lose than be somebody that people call boring. That's my biggest fear, is leaving the sport and somebody saying, man, I hated watching that guy fight. He was boring.
There is something about the Asian market, the Pacific Rim market of MMA, where they don't care win or lose. You guys just have to put on a good show. You have to have an exciting fight style, beat guys up, and go out there. And if you get caught, you get caught. They don't really care. They don't really ride on winning and losing and all that kind of stuff. They more ride on the fighter as a whole. Where you're right, the UFC is more about you got to keep winning, got to keep winning, got to keep winning, no matter what else you do, off camera, off the scene. They don't really care that much. That's just American sports. That's how American sports are. If your team's not winning,
Right.
then they're losing. That's just how it works. Have you reached out to ONE FC yet? Has your management team reached out to ONE FC to try to get on there? Or?
I did. I actually, Ben Askren sent an email on my behalf. I got a copy of that from my manager. Ben sent me an email. Jens Pulver said that he was going to send an email on my behalf. And then I just didn't hear anything back. And I wanted to have some kind of fight scheduled. I don't want to just sit around. So, Titan was the next best thing, and they came with a good fight that I'm excited about. Iliarde he's a big, strong guy. He comes forward. He's not going to run backwards. He's not going to avoid the action. And that I die for them fights. That's what I want. I want a bloody, knockdown, drag out fight.
How do you think this fight's going to go? Is it going to be you two guys fighting in the center of the cage, just throwing down and in kind of in a little phone booth, or is there going to be some tactics involved? We have to use a lot of your wrestling skill to kind of pull out a decision on them.
I've really been working on some different things. I feel like a lot of times in my fights, all I was doing was going forward the whole time, and Makovsky exposed me with that. Every time I took a step forward, he'd take me down. So I've been working some footwork things, and I plan on doing a lot of different things in this fight. I've really changed my training up to gymnastics and traditional martial arts rather than working on wrestling and ground and pound. Really working, getting off my back more and not playing jiu-jitsu so much, and just not being comfortable. I always feel comfortable, even with Joe B when he was choking me. While he was choking me, I was like, man, he's wasting his time here. I'm winning this fight. He should be trying to hit me, and then he finished me. I don't have a lot of urgency with guys that I'm fighting, because at the gym, I'm fighting big guys like James Krause every day. So when I go against guys my size, I feel like there's no way they can beat me. So I've been working on having a little more urgency as far as not being so comfortable everywhere.
And is it specific drills that you do, or is it go the entire round? Like what's the mentality for this?
The great thing about James is he's a great fighter, but man, he's an even better coach in my opinion. He sees things that I don't see. He's a lot smarter than I am with the sport. When the fight's happening for me, I don't know where I'm at in the cage. I don't know where my corner's at. I'm so one-track minded. But James is doing good at stopping me if I'm doing something right in the middle of practice. He'll stop me. He'll tell me something, and then we proceed from there. So I learn better that way. I don't learn well in a classroom setting where everybody's sitting in a circle and a guy's showing moves. And James he knows how to teach me stuff, and that's just how his coaching style is. It's really good. I think he's a way better coach than he's a fighter, and I think he's a great fighter.
Actually, everybody I've talked to about James Krause has said specifically, and when I used to commentate his fights back on HDNet, which is now Access Television, that everybody else would talk about. You think he's a good fighter? Wait till he coaches you. Like, watch him coach. That is
he's
obviously
fun.
his next. That's his next stage in life. Is when he tries fighting, he'll be a full-time coach. He's already coaching.
Right.
How important is it to find a coach that not only believes in you but also understands you?
It's everything. Coaches can win you fights. I traveled a lot of places. I went to Dominic Cruz's gym. I've been out to Team Alpha Male. I've been to a lot of big gyms, and just working with James a little bit, I was like, man, this is it for me. I'm going to stay here, for as long as I can and try to take all this guy's knowledge. And then if I need to go somewhere else, I will. But he's learning all the time. He doesn't think any one way is right. He doesn't, he thinks the game is still so new. You can't go back and look at old tape and say this is the right way to do something, because that stuff doesn't work anymore. A lot of it, he's finding new things, and that's what I like about him. It's not this is the way to do it. This is the way it's been done. It's you can do it this way, but there's this new way we've been working, and he's really good at that.
You know what? I've gone back and looked at some of your old interviews and looked at some of your old highlight reels, and it seems like you're re-energized. Like your other interviews are kind of like ho-hummed, and I get it. You're more animated when you're talking to me. I get it. I understand. I'm just a better interviewer than the other guys. Like, I know that. But still, like you seem like you're more energized. You seem like it's not confidence. It's not cocky, but you seem like I got this now. Like I kind of got it now. Is it getting up at 3 a.m. and having to change diapers that kind of gives you that calmness, or is it the confidence going in like I'm rested and prepared for this practice now? I know my coach. Whatever my coach says is new and gonna work. And what is it that's giving you this kind of I hate to keep saying energized, but it's kind of what you are. Like you're like the Energizer Bunny right now.
You're right, man. I feel it. I'm excited again. It's been a long time, but it's a combination of the things. My coaching, my team, they're all behind me, and the baby is just. I kind of found myself. I have a real purpose now. To whereas before I was just a fighter or just a wrestler or just a student. Never really had a job, like a real job, and now I have a baby, so I found a purpose. So everything else doesn't really matter. It's all fun from here on out. So it's been positive.
How old is your baby right now?
2 months and 3 weeks. This is the longest I've been away from her. It's where I'm cornering some guys here in Bellator, and she's about 30 minutes away from me. Been 2 days since I've seen her.
Oh wow, FaceTime? Are you getting some FaceTime?
Yeah, FaceTime
Okay.
FaceTime every day.
What's your wife do?
She works for General Motors. She's a logistics coordinator.
So, well, you talked about, hey, if I learn everything I can from James Krause, when I learn that if I got to move on, I'll move on. Is it possible for her to get up and move jobs? You know, is it?
It could be, but even if she's so supportive, I could go anywhere. Now that I have a baby, obviously I can't. But there was a time where she would work and I could go anywhere and train, and she would foot the bill. Um, Now that we have a baby, not so much. But she's had almost 5 years at this company, so she has something to bring to the table if we go to look for another job. That
Right.
shows that she can work with people and that she's loyal. So that's a big plus for us. But no, I don't. I've never even really thought about leaving
Right.
unless I was done fighting. If I'm done fighting, I'll leave Kansas City. But as long as I'm fighting, I'm probably going to stay with James Krause.
What's wrong? Why would you leave Kansas City? Why you don't like Kansas City? It's not comfortable there, or I mean,
Just where we lived, it was fine for just me and my wife. But now we have a baby, and the people in our area are, they're not the. I'm not saying they're bad people, but I would rather my child grow up in a little better area than where
well,
we're
no,
living.
like you said, it's a purpose. Like I live in a part of town in Vegas specifically because I want to be around these people. Like
Right.
this is what it is. Like people live in certain neighborhoods and certain sections because they want to be around those kind of people. And you got kids. I live over here because my kids come over here, and I have them half the week. I gotta be okay with them riding the bikes in the street. I gotta be okay with them going outside and throwing writing chalk stuff on the sidewalks. I gotta be okay with that. I can't be okay with that, then I can't live here. It's a
Right.
very simple process. I spent a lot of time in Hawaii, like a lot of time in Hawaii, and there's only certain neighborhoods that I live in because my friends are there. It's like just what we do. It's like kind of how we do it as people. When you got to worry about, hey, I got kids. What am I going to do next? I can't be I can't be over here with like a single guy doing this. I got to be someplace else. So yeah, I totally get it. I totally understand it. Where would you go then? Where would you move to?
Man, I don't know. Like I said, that would be after I was done fighting,
Yeah.
but probably somewhere Colorado is nice.
Yep.
It's jobs pay better. Colorado is doing well right now,
Yeah.
and I would like to be a part of that.
But we're talking about something that's going to happen 10 years from now. So who knows? We're talking about a hypothetical. Yeah, at this
Yeah, I
point.
mean, I don't know. Honestly, if my wife would let me, I would have 10 kids right now. I want as many kids as I could possibly have. Another loss, I may never fight again. Probably I will, but if my wife would let me, I'd have another baby right away.
Really? So you're really contemplating hanging it up. If you lose again, you kind of it's in your head. It's not in the back of the head anymore. It's up front.
Fighting is just not number one anymore.
Fair enough. Well, your baby's only 2 months, 3 weeks. So let's give it. I tell you what. Don't make any rash decisions till your baby's a year old.
All right.
You got to think about it because there's a time like, okay, wait, we're settled in. We've got things that are going. Okay, now I got to worry about college. I got to worry about braces later on. I got to worry about glasses later on. You got other stuff you got to start worrying about. You're like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna keep fighting because I'm good at it, and the pay's coming up, and the wife and I have dual income. We can get a lot of money saved. That might change your whole attitude.
That's true. And as an infant, I haven't really thought about all that. It's just I'm day by day with it. I'm so new at it, but man, it's every day just keeps getting better as of right now.
You're waiting on her to roll over. You're waiting on her, start doing like lifting her head up. Like you're still at that stage. Let
Yeah,
alone worrying about the first time she drives a car.
right. Yeah, I'm
First
thinking about
date.
that.
You're not worrying about
Yeah.
first date. Like So give it some time. Don't ever think about getting out of the sport. You've got some time. You give it a little bit. And 10 kids. Come on, man. That's. Let's not be silly.
Well,
That's a lot of
like
torture
I
on your
said,
wife.
I'm feeling good right now, and I've noticed in practice that I'm actually getting better for the first time in a long time. When I first got to Kansas City, I was on a steady uphill climb because I sucked. I had just wrestling, and then boy, all of a sudden I could strike and kick, and I wasn't scared to throw a kick because it was hurting my foot. And then I'm feeling that again. I feel like I'm going back uphill with a lot of these guys, and it's been awesome.
Good for you, Tim. Thanks for coming on here. Have fun with Santos. It's gonna be a good fight. Those who want to watch him fight, July 18th, Titan Fighting Championships 34. This one's up in Montreal. Great fight.
Kansas City, they moved it.
Oh, they did move it. That's what I thought it was, Kansas City, but it's still on. My note still says Montreal, so it's in Kansas.
They were having trouble getting visas.
Yeah, like wasn't like half the card couldn't get in. There was something weird.
Yeah, including the guy I'm fighting.
Montreal it's such a it's Canada as a whole is a tough country to get into. It's so strange, and then Montreal is like Quebec is even harder to get into. It's very weird how they do their visas up there. But
I'm glad if it was in Canada, I wouldn't be able to go. I'm not gonna go that far away from the baby right now, so I wouldn't have been able to fight if it was in Canada. Now that it's in Kansas City, it's perfect.
Yeah, you'll stay home that night, right? Instead of you won't be in the hotel.
Probably I'll still get a hotel. Just so I can do my original thing, but I'll probably have the baby with me.
Okay. Yep. Smart. Yep. No, it's if you're gonna be a family guy all the time, no matter what your job entails.
That's it.
Works. So, all right. Thanks, Tim. I appreciate it, buddy. We'll talk again soon.
Anytime, man. Thank you.